Hi, welcome to About Town. I'm Carol Brewster, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming blood drive in Hanson. And with us we have Don Cirasuolo, who's a volunteer for a lot of the blood drives in the area, and Malissa Litchenwalter, who is the donor coordinator or recruiter, superintendent for the area. So, Dawn, can you tell me a little bit about how you started being a volunteer with the blood drives?
Well, my wife is a breast cancer survivor for 17 years, and with the success that she's had, I wanted to give something, okay? And to get organized, blood drives, platelets, I'm a platelet donor. I feel real good about helping people that instead of donations or anything like that, they need good blood and good platelets. So that's pretty much why I started it.
Yeah, you've been doing it for a long time.
15 years, 16 years.
And
yeah.
what towns do you cover? Because you're around the whole area, aren't you? What towns do you cover usually?
Oh, Hanson, Hanover. I'm going to probably start Pembroke and Halifax.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And when is this drive coming up?
Blood drive is August 12th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 3 at the Hanson Police Department.
Yes, and are there certain things that go into picking these sites? Because I know you did it at the Hanson Police Station last year.
Yeah. Mostly I like to do it with town entities because the people that work in the Bloodmobile need facilities and stuff like that. So we're pretty much, town halls and police stations and stuff like that. So.
Places that people are familiar with.
Yes, yeah.
Melissa, what goes into organizing these drives?
Well, a lot of planning. It's like planning a big party and inviting everyone to come, and then you hope everybody shows up on time. And one of the things that we've been able to do in the last couple of years is to really establish a relationship through the Norfolk County Chiefs of Police. And through our initial contact there was the chief in Dover, who's also a platelet and a whole blood donor, and asked him if he'd host a blood drive, and he did. And then we realized we were doing some with a couple of the other chiefs around Norfolk County. And so they've invited me to come and talk with them and educate them a little bit about what we do, the fact that the Bloodmobile that we have is the Brigham and Women's Dana-Farber Cancer Institute Bloodmobile, which is the traveling extension of the Kraft Family Blood Donor Center at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Brigham and Women's Hospital. And so all of the blood that we collect stays and benefits patients at Dana-Farber and Brigham and Women's. And their chiefs of police have been very supportive. A lot of first responder organizations are very supportive of blood supply because unfortunately they see a lot of the people who need them once they get to the hospital. But as I was saying, the Norfolk County Chiefs of Police have been very helpful, and we've established relationships with them, and a lot of them are doing blood drives and being very successful at it through the communities like Don was mentioning. And also the fact that the chiefs like to be able to do something for their community in a positive way. It's one of those good things that they can do. And so they know a lot of people whose lives have been touched by Brigham and Dana-Farber. The community knows that, and as Don mentioned, it's a way for people to pay it forward by donating blood. And so we're very fortunate that the chiefs have kind of taken this on. Not everyone's sponsoring one yet, but we're working on it to get all of them involved. And so we're very appreciative of them supporting us, especially in the month of August.
Is August one of your prime months for need?
Yes. Historically, the winter months of January and February can be difficult for blood collection because of the weather. You never know what's going to come when. And then the summer months, July and August, are usually very critical for us as far as maintaining an adequate inventory of blood on the shelf because so many people are on vacation. We don't have schools. I've learned since I've moved to the Boston area that a lot of people take the month of August off if they have enough time. And so it's really challenging for us to have a number of drives in the month of August. So we're very appreciative of the communities that step up and help us out during that time.
Yeah. I noticed you mentioned the Kraft family. How were they involved in this?
Actually, a lot of people think that the Kraft family became involved with it because of the relationship with the NFL and the Patriots, but it actually predates their relationship with the NFL. They have been supporters of, I believe it, Robert Kraft was involved with Dana-Farber back when Dana-Farber used to have a blood bank itself. Now they work with the blood bank at Brigham and Women's Hospital, and his late wife Myra was also involved. And I believe Robert and one of their sons are still on the board at Dana-Farber, and they feel very strongly about platelet donation and educating people about platelet donation. Everyone's heard about blood donation, but platelets, not so much. And so Robert Kraft, recognized the value and need for platelets even 35, 40 years ago, and has been very supportive of the work that has been done and dedicated the Kraft Center about 35 years ago.
And I'm surprised at the collaboration between the hospitals as well, because they do work closely together?
Oh, yes, very closely. Dana-Farber and Brigham and Women's have a number of joint cancer centers throughout the region. I think I passed one at another hospital on the way down here. They have the 2 floors of the cancer center at the Brigham as well. And so we understand the symbiotic relationship that is beneficial to the patients by being able to get as much of your care in one place. I personally was the recipient of that care. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, had a recurrence 3 years ago, and a new breast cancer on the other side as well, and literally owe my life to Dana-Farber and Brigham and Women's because of the good care that I got ahead of time, and as well as the maintenance care, and then finding and being able to diagnose it as early as they did so that it wasn't metastatic for me in my case. And I was able to get my surgery done at Brigham and Women's, and my follow-up care has been handled through Dana-Farber. So I literally love my work, been here for 5 years, and now I really owe my life to them.
Wow, that's great. And how is your wife doing now, Dawn?
Well, we just had scans Saturday, and when we see our oncologist look at my wife and say, "You're doing great," that makes you feel good. It warms me right now. They saved my wife's life, and I want to give something back to them. Quick step back. Mike Mish, who was the chief of police in Hanson, and also the chief of police in Hanover, Walter Sweeney, they are 2 gentlemen that gave everything for that drive. I just want to put their names out there. Getting back to my my wife, you and I know Melissa can agree with me, but it's a roller coaster ride. But when you see the expression on doctors' faces that say, "Looking good," wow.
Yeah.
And I'm helping. I'm helping with part of me, you know.
It's a great feeling.
So, I thoroughly enjoy it. The only part I don't like is when they stick you with the needle, but that's okay. You get by that.
How often do you give platelets?
I try and give once a week, believe it or not.
Really? You can do it that often?
Yeah,
But just to add a caveat to that, you can actually donate 24 times in a rolling 12-month period, or as often as once a week. But once you hit that 24 mark, then you have to take a break.
Oh. So they get...
And I only mention that because we have so many wonderful dedicated donors who, if they could, they would donate every week.
Can you give the platelets on the bus, or is that just whole blood on the bloodmobile?
Whole blood.
Yeah.
Okay. So can they separate those units when they get it back, or does it have to be done at the site?
We prefer to collect single donor platelets in the donor center.
Right.
And what that allows us to do is to, the process is a single-use needle, single-use kit. And so the needle goes in one arm, the whole blood goes out into the machine. It stays in the kit, in the machine, and it uses centrifugal force, sends the platelets up into one bag, and then gently returns everything back to the donor. So it's less stress on the donor's body in many ways because they get their red cells, their oxygen-carrying cells back. And your body replicates platelets very quickly, and so you're not... Many donors don't seem to have some of the side effects that whole blood donors might feel tired because it does take longer for your oxygen-carrying cells to rejuvenate themselves.
And how often can someone give whole blood?
You can donate whole blood every 56 days, or about every 3 months. And your platelets you can do, as I mentioned, weekly, as often as once a week, or 24 times in a 12-month period.
And what kinds of things do they screen for? Because many people wonder if they can give blood, and they're thinking about, well, maybe I'm on some kind of medication and I can't give.
That's an excellent question. There are so many times that people will self-defer because they think they can't donate. And we always encourage people to email us at blooddonor@partners.org or give us a call to find out if they are eligible. The medications usually aren't what defer you. It's the reason you're taking the medication that might defer you. A lot of women, such as myself, of a certain age are on Synthroid for thyroid. That's not going to defer you. Or high blood pressure medicine. As long as your blood pressure is within range, that's not going to defer you. A lot of other common things that people are taking medication will not defer you. It would be the condition. For example, if you've had a blood cancer, you can't donate. If you've had a breast cancer and you've finished all of your treatment and you're no evidence of disease, after 1 year, you can donate now. And a lot of people don't realize that as a cancer survivor, after 1 year, they can donate, as long as they're well and healthy that day.
So they generally screen the people before they take the blood too, or do they
Yes.
screen them on the phone?
Absolutely, yes. You get like a mini health physical right before you donate.
Oh.
We're going to check their pulse, their blood pressure, their temperature, their iron level, and then also you're going to answer questions about your health and lifestyle to make sure that you are well and healthy and meet the requirements of being a blood donor.
Now, what kind of experience can people expect if they sign up and they come to the bloodmobile? Are they staggered?
Well, hopefully they're going to have fun,
Yeah.
first and foremost, because yes, as I said, it's like throwing a party and hoping everybody shows up on time. They'll come, they'll have reading material, they'll check in, they'll be screened in a private booth so that medical screening is all done in private. And then once they're able to be cleared to donate, then they'll go and they'll sit in a comfy reclining bed in the bloodmobile. We have 5 beds, and they'll get all comfy and they'll sanitize their arm, and then actual donation takes about 8 to 12 minutes. The whole process is going to take about 45 minutes to an hour, but that's because there's reading to do, the health screening, getting you settled in, getting you prepped and all ready to go, than actually collecting the blood. And then you're going to sit there and have a snack. And we always encourage people to have a good snack and drink water and juice while they're there, but they also need to remember that this isn't like a blood test. You do need to eat a regular meal and drink plenty of fluids before you donate.
Yeah.
I realize the weather's been very spring-like lately, but just one day of humidity can really dehydrate people a lot more than they realize.
And that's very important with how you feel after you've given blood, as long as you're hydrated enough before you come in.
Absolutely. And we always encourage people to drink plenty of water and other good fluids, maybe, back off a little on the caffeine right before you donate. And then also, if they're ever concerned or if it's their first time donating and they're not sure, let their phlebotomist or the person that they're working with, let them know that they have those fears. That's nothing to be ashamed of. It's very common. We're so grateful for people to come and donate that we want it to be a good experience. So if they let their collection tech or phlebotomist know that that's a concern for them, they'll take that into consideration. Be very, not that they're not watchful all the time, because they are, but they will do a few extra things just to help keep an eye and try to make sure it's a good experience for all involved.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I did have an opportunity to do some footage last year when you were here, and I'd like to show that now.
Hi, I'm Jeff Levine. I'm the driver of the Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's mobile blood mobile. I've been working for the hospital for close to a year now, and we keep the bus in Alston. The hospital, of course, is located in Boston on Francis Street. What this is a 42-foot long bus. It's 12 feet 11 inches high, and it's 8.5 feet wide. It's actually a Thomas bus that has been designed by the Matthews Company. It has a Cummins engine with a chassis, 2 generators, one on either side, and it has 4 air conditioning units, as you can see further down the bus. In the back of the bus, it has 3 interview rooms, and as you can see, it has 4 stretchers, 2 on either side, for 4 patients to donate blood at one given time. The average drive has anywhere from 20 to 30 donors on it. It is considered a full drive. We come up, it's probably about an hour drive from Boston, and we usually have drives between the hours of 9 and 3.
What's involved when you first get here to get the bus?
Sure. Yeah. What we do is we do a site check ahead of time, sometime during the week before we get to a drive. We try to make sure that the parking lot that we are in is level, so we can put the stanchions and the stabilizers out to stabilize the bus while the technicians are doing their sticks for their donations. And then what we usually will do is put the scales in order, because it's a machine that automatically will tell the technician when the bag is full. So we have to make sure those are up and running, and the different computers that we use for our system have to be up and running. We usually use 4 computers, 1 for each interview room. We we'll check in our patient live is what we prefer. We can do downtime, just paperwork. But what we try to do is check in the patient so it's real-time application, basically, so we can take our units of blood back to the hospital and use them right away if we have to. So then what we'll do is we'll, of course the lights will be on, we set up our equipment, and we'll set up the packs to be used so when the donor comes aboard, we can use those right away, ready to use. As you can see, these are the packs over here. And we basically set up the bus just before we end up doing our drives. Yeah, no problem. We appreciate it. And of course, we thank everybody for coming aboard, wherever we are in Massachusetts. I mean, it's a life-saving event, and it's taking, the time out of each one of the donors that we absolutely appreciate, in regards to, the Brigham and Women's and the Dana-Farber. We really, really appreciate it. We thank everybody.
I noticed that people seemed to be very relaxed in the Bloodmobile. It looked very professional.
It's a totally self-contained donor room, except for one thing. As Don mentioned, we need facilities because our crew wants to be able to wash their hands and use the restroom before they do collections, and then throughout the course of the day to take a break and go, be able to wash up a little bit. And then also there are occasions where somebody might have a reaction and they want to stick around a little bit longer, or they want to splash water in their face, that kind of thing. And so we always make sure to have facilities available.
That's good, and that's one of the considerations when you choose the police departments, because they do have the facilities.
Yes, they should be accessible 24 hours a day.
Right.
And a parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many blood units did you get last year? How many do you usually get on a...
Our average drives are about 23 to 24. Right now in the summer months, it's been a little bit closer to 20 to 21. And I believe last year we got about 25 at the drive last year. So it was right on par. We hope to see about 35 people coming out, and they can sign up online for their appointment. They're, through our Facebook page, there'll be information on where the link is, and trying to think where else. I don't know if the Hanson Police Department probably puts it up on their Facebook page as well.
Yes, and they also have that big, the sign that's in front of the town hall.
Right.
Yeah, that I believe is it's incredible. We got the last one we did there. We had 41 people show up, and out of the 41, 35 or 36 were eligible to donate, and that was probably one of the best feelings I ever had. Was that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. So.
How many times do you go around in an area? Do you usually try to go once a year or more often?
Actually, we try to go more often if they're willing to sponsor it. We have a lot of our sponsors who are willing to go quarterly, because most people can donate 4 to 5 times a year.
Yeah.
And so we space it out spring, summer, fall, and winter, and try to hit a majority of our groups 4 times a year or 2 times a year. Our once-a-year drives are usually held in memory of or in honor of someone who's being treated. So a lot of our drives, we do try to get back to that general area on a regular basis.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about so that people will know about anything about what you're doing?
Sure. As Don mentioned, he's a platelet donor, and as I said, a lot of people know about blood donation, but they're not familiar with platelets.
Right.
And platelets are your body's internal Band-Aids. Your body rejuvenates those very quickly. That's why you're able to donate as often as once a week. And frontline chemotherapies, the first generations and the second generations of chemo drugs, were designed to destroy fast replicating cells.
Oh.
And indiscriminate of whether they were cancer cells or platelet cells that were they were fast replicating. So chemos were designed to attack those cells. That's why a lot of time patients who are going through active chemotherapy or the frontline and original chemotherapy treatments protocols need platelets, because the chemo doesn't know what to attack. That's one of the beauties of CAR T and some of the targeted immunotherapies that they're working on now are designed to teach your body how to attack the wrong right cells.
Yeah. I'm familiar with AFib because I had it. And one of the things about AFib is they try to keep your blood with less platelets or less clotting factors.
Right.
Is this something that would help somebody that by giving platelets, do you think?
That's an excellent question, and I'd have to consult with the nurse to see if you have AFib, if you're able to donate or not. I don't remember. The rule book is so thick. I go to access it, which is why we always encourage people to email us at blooddonor@partners.org with those kind of questions. It's an excellent question, and unfortunately I can't remember the answer off the top of my head, so rather than give wrong information, we encourage people to email us and ask those questions. A lot of times people who do have too many platelets and a clotting factor, they're on a blood thinner. And so
and then they wouldn't be able to.
They would not be able to usually. Again, a lot of times it's not the medication, it's the reason you're on the medication.
Right, right. Huh. Well, that's very interesting, and I'm so happy that you came, and we're looking forward to the blood drive on the 12th, August 12th.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
From a New England Patriots perspective,
Yes.
if you donate 20 donations of platelets, you automatically get invited once a year to the luncheon that Bob Kraft and his family put on for the donors at Gillette Stadium. And it's an incredible opportunity to meet people like James White, a lot of the great football players. We were fortunate enough last year. It was 1 week after the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and I mean, my wife and I were on an elevator with James White, and it was like,
Wow.
but it's great. It's what a great job he does. The whole family is they're wonderful, and it is quite a spread at Gillette Stadium. So that's incentive.
Yeah, it is definitely incentive. And how many units do you have to do in a year?
You got to do 20
Oh, wow.
20 in the fiscal year.
Yes.
in the fiscal year. So, but it's
And then you earn your Team 20 button. We have a Team 20 blood drop now. That's the badge for everyone who attains it.
Well, I hope that encourages even more people to donate. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us again.
having us, yes.
And thank you for joining us. This is About Town, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, welcome to the Hanson Food Pantry. Yes, we're finally here. We love it here. Thank you for all your help. Donating money to do the repairs and renovations to get us going. So many people ask us what they can do. The easiest thing to say is to look at our Facebook page, Hanson Food Pantry 2015, or look on our website, hansonfoodpantry.org. And you can also contact us through email, and that's hansonfoodpantry@gmail.com.